Hello crafters, today I'm going to be showing you how to make 5 easy watercolour backgrounds for cards, including a galaxy, flower, zigzags and other geometric patterns. And the materials I'm using is some Canson watercolour XL paper, and I'm also using this cheap watercolour palette, but of course you can go as expensive or as cheap as you like. This one is from Rico Designs, but I think you can get a similar one in Michael's in America. So the first thing I'm going to be making is the galaxy card. So to start off with this, you're going to want to put down some colour and try and get the colour as dark as you possibly can, use the darkest colour in your palette. So I decided to do a blue, a turquoise, a pink, a yellow and an orange, I think, and it's going to look like a total disaster until you kind of layer everything on. So just go with it and it's going to turn out beautiful. So now that I did my first section, I'm going to add some more colour on, and I'm going darker with my watercolours this time, and I'm also using less water with the watercolours so the colours are more intense and darker on the paper. Now I'm going to take my black watercolour and I'm going to go all over this horrible mess with that, and I'm kind of varying the intensity of the black, so some of the colour shows through but most of it is hidden by the black, and you're just going to want to do this all over it. You can go over and adjust it when the first layer dries, and yeah, this is how you're obviously going to make the background for your galaxy. And next, once that's done, you can see it there, and now I'm going to be adding the stars, and this is done with some white gouache or white watercolours I'm using here. You can use any white pigmented thing you have, and I'm just going to take a paintbrush, or a toothbrush would be ideal, and I'm just going to flicker that all over the background. And at this point you can also add in some little stars if you wanted, but I didn't. Next background is this wash of watercolour, and there are many ways to do this. So from my version, I first off I wet the whole background with just some normal water and a paintbrush, and then I took out some sprays. You can obviously just stick to watercolours or use whatever you had. I'm kind of trying to use these things up, and this is a good way to do it, but again you can do whatever, and this obviously adds some shimmer. I was going to use some ink, but it did not work. It was not going to open for me, and I kind of have to find a way to open that. If you know how to open things that are really stuck together, please tell me down below. And anyway, next I'm going to take some pearly watercolour. I decided to kind of make a pearl finish on this background, so I added some pearly watercolour all in the same yellow-orange colour scheme, and I just kept adding on more and more and more until I was happy with the result. I also added some pink. This is Tattered Angels, and again I added some normal yellow. And then I recommend heat setting it so it doesn't all go to the edges when it warps. So that's. Next background is this flower, and this is more of a focal point, but I just had to include it in this video. And to start off with this, you're going to kind of want to make C's that kind of overlap each other and go in all different directions. I personally kind of went with ombre from yellow to orange to red, but of course you can do any colour you want. You can go with blues, purples, or you could even just do one colour again and again. And when the further you go out, the bigger your brush should be, so kind of have 2 or 3 brushes with you, and it'll make a better effect. And I also added in some leaves, and I filled in the rest with some other colour. And yeah, this is a very easy background to make. It's obviously a focal point for a card. You could cut it out and stick it down, or you could just add a sentiment on it, or you don't even have to, and it's a finished and beautiful card. So it's something I love doing quite often because I think it really gives amazing results. Next is this beautiful geometric pattern inspired by some card makers I saw online. And to start off with this, I'm going to take some thin washi tape. I think it's about up 1/4 of an inch. And before this, I stuck it down onto my jumper, which was a woolly jumper, and so it wouldn't tear the paper. And it actually worked out perfectly for once. I really never have luck with it, but it worked out there. And remember to stick it down very well. And I'm just making a geometric pattern with this. There's really no rhyme or reason with it. It's just to make a geometric pattern, and I'm very happy with my pattern. I must say so myself. And yeah. So next you're going to want to take your watercolours and make sure your tape is pressed down very well so it doesn't bleed through. And you're just going to take your watercolours and kind of add different layers of the same colour in the kind of shape, and that way you can get a very nice blotty and kind of messy but kind of clean at the same time look. And I just did a rainbow of different colours and I'm really happy with how this turned out. It's probably my favourite background of today. And now you're just going to want to peel the tape back very carefully, fold it back onto itself to get the best results so it doesn't tear, minimize the risks of tearing. And you can see it was just the most satisfying part of this entire video. It's just really amazing. And I have to stress the importance again of make sure you press down your tape very well so it doesn't rip the paper again. And luckily that didn't happen to me on this day. I'm going to finish off with this very, very easy chevron pattern, and I'm just going to take a angled a bigger brush. You don't have to use an angled brush, it's just what was easiest for me. And I'm going to make some zigzags or chevrons with it, and I used purple as my first colour, and I just did this over the entire background. And this is a very easy card to make. It's probably the easiest and the quickest, and it gives amazing results. There's so many different things you could do with it. You could add different shapes in between the chevrons, and you can obviously mix the colours and just experiment, and it's really good for that. And then I thought it was a bit too dry by itself, so I decided to take a very thin brush and add some other chevrons in between that. And this is definitely my favourite background up to date. So if you like this video, please like, comment and subscribe to my channel. It would mean the world to me. And tell me down below if you're going to make any of these. Do you have any other watercolour background ideas? And check out these little videos here. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.